Okay, we are now at or past the appointed time, so we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum present, and in fact, I'd like to welcome our newest member, Coralie Green. Did I say it right this time?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the committee. Glad to have you aboard. Yes. So we will go ahead and follow the agenda. The first thing is the review and approve the minutes of the previous meeting. The draft minutes have been passed out to the committee tonight. They were previously sent by email. I know Kyler has indicated that comments received as a result of the email have been incorporated in the draft before us, so a motion would be in order.
I will move that we accept the minutes as printed.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Yeah, minutes are passed, approved. Before we leave this subject, I wanted to bring up something that I asked about at the meeting Monday night, which was the training for the town and committee members on FOIA and the Free Information Act, access to information. And what I wanted to bring up is the process we've been using, which I'm fine with, but I was concerned that it may not meet the FOIA requirements or may impose conditions on those of us that are participating in that process, some things that we have to do. And that is, Kyler puts the minutes together, sends them out to the committee via email, and then we are welcome. We have the opportunity to comment back to him via email, which I typically do because I can redline any changes I would like to see. I think it's an easy process. So I raised that question from the standpoint of us exchanging personal emails about committee business, opens our email up to discovery in a FOIA request.
Oh, okay.
Which would mean, and I had clarification from the attorneys,
FOIA stand for?
well, at the federal level, it's Freedom of Information
Oh, okay.
Act, Freedom of Information Access, and at the state level has a little bit different name, but it's the same.
Freedom of Access Act.
Yeah,
Maine.
FOAA.
Yeah.
So it means the same thing. And what I got clarified was, let's say I respond to Kyler's original draft with some changes I would like. And that then says, all right, we've exchanged private email. So if a request comes into the town about this committee that would affect the minutes we were talking about, then Becky would send us a notice that we would have to provide copies of whatever discussion we had about that subject, which means that we then have to keep a record, or we have to keep those emails on file at home for some number of years. So in case there's a request for discovery. So I know some people don't want their email being discoverable. I know in business that I was in, we would be very careful about things like that because you didn't want to open up all of your email to discovery. So I'm wondering if we should change our process there. So I'll open it up. I think I threw enough out. I'm rambling now. Just
Well, the normal process would actually be that we read it during the meeting, the follow-up meeting, actually, and then approve them. But that doesn't give you the but and I know our minutes are probably more complicated than most committees. And that's why you would like to make some changes from time to time, which is understandable. Yeah.
Well, I have a suggestion.
put it on the table because I might have one too. So go ahead.
Think it could still be emailed out to everybody as long as it goes through the committee email as well.
Mhm.
So there's a record of it in the town. We can print it out, mark it up, do whatever we want with it, and then bring it and vote on it and suggest the changes at the time of the meeting.
I think that was one of the off things I was gonna
I mean,
say.
the other suggestion would be is if you have the town email, if we always reply to all, then you would have a record of
And it would-
everything.
I still don't get those, because you probably haven't,
They don't bounce back.
they don't,
I
I
sent,
didn't get these,
this came from Kyler.
they did,
Yeah.
You didn't get the draft?
no, I got it, I didn't bring it actually, but I got it, but I picked it off the town website, because I know that you had sent them out and I didn't have them, so
But he's sending them out to you.
then he doesn't use my right email, then he used rr.com rather than Gmail, probably.
Okay, what's your email address?
VAN, Victor, Alpha, Nico,
You know,
001. Just spelling it, it's very, I'll write it down for you.
But I think I've tried to make sure that
Yeah.
the distribution list I use
Yeah.
off the town site is your Gmail address,
Well, I don't
but
get
you're
it.
still not getting them.
No.
is this,
I get them, I get the emails that you send on the regular, on the private email.
On private, I send to you,
Yeah.
person to person, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
is this conversation predicated on the possible fear that our email accounts may be, seized? I don't, that's not the right word.
Well, the attorney
Or is there?
said the other night, and I'm not 100% that I agree, is that the onus would be on you to maintain these emails for whatever number of years are required. And he didn't say how many number of years would be required. Now, and it's unlikely that for this committee, this would happen, but you never know, that you would be asked to provide all emails you have that you sent to anybody on the committee for some period of time. Now, if you say, well, I don't have them, could you, not being a lawyer, but practicing law anyway, could-
I think a lot of lawyers.
Was this meeting that you went to, was that the meeting that was supposed, that was, I thought it was going to be announced, because
It was. It had been originally scheduled in November and then got
Yeah,
moved to this past Monday.
I had wanted to go, but I didn't know.
It was videoed, so you could see it.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't.
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
my concern personally is that even if I provide the email, or if I say I don't have it anymore, could somebody come in and subpoena all of my email just to search it
Mhm.
and see if what I said was true? And some people don't want to put themselves in a position to do that. So, I think what Andy and what Teresa are saying, if you send that out to all, including the committee, the official committee email address, then the town has a record of your email. And then rather than us sending it comments back to you, we bring the comments in here and make the changes in here at the formal meeting.
Well, or why not, using the same logic, why not send your comments back to me and copy the official meeting email address? That would take care of that problem. Because and the only reason I mention that is because
All of our emails are.
if every single email is copied to the official email address, that would, the fear, and I mean, this is not a huge fear, but I mean, it takes us, it takes a month to write the meeting minutes, change them, and then get them approved.
Right.
It would take 2 months or a month and additional time after we have met.
Well, it would take considerable time at this meeting to go through
Yeah,
all of the changes that somebody wanted, when, particularly when you're getting down to grammatical changes and things like that, it would take a considerable amount of time out of the meeting, and
It used to.
it used to, yeah,
Take
Yeah.
a good chunk of time out of the meeting to sit here and
go through all
put
that.
period here and.
Right, which is why I like what we've been doing better, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to raise it from the standpoint of covering our bases from four. So is everybody in agreement that if Kyler sends it out and it goes through the official committee email, we respond and it goes through the official committee email, that the town then has a record of everything we've done?
All you have to do is do reply all.
If we hit, so we do reply all, then it's going through there. And if the town provides it, then it's been provided. That there should be no reason why it should come back out to us. I mean, it's not foolproof, but we would argue that.
this is, in the scheme of things, this is small potatoes. I mean,
Yeah,
Nothing.
I'm trying to think of an instance in why this would even, I mean.
yeah,
I will tell you, when I was on the select board, we got a freedom of access request. And I had to go through and print out every email that I had on a certain subject. And get it to Becky,
Yeah,
and it was just, it was ridiculous. It was a vendetta. Is what it was, but
Okay. So are we all in agreement, and I'll do this by consensus rather than a vote, is that we will communicate on the minutes to all, including the official committee email address, so that we maintain a record of all of that within the town?
is there any reason why we would want to limit it to the meeting minutes? I mean, if there's any other it's had.
Well, any business we do should go through that address.
Okay, so
All right, so-
in other words, all.
All community, so what I would,
communication.
if you're gonna send me a note, you thought of something, hey, Paul,
Yeah,
should we do this? Send it, don't send it to me, send it through, or actually, if you send it through
send it to you and copy.
send it to the committee address and copy me,
Yes.
because I don't check that every day, and I have to go log into it.
So other than what it was before, because sometimes he would have the minutes and you would answer him privately, and we would not be necessarily in that conversation all the time. But from now on.
I may have just
But
replied.
From now on, we would be.
Right,
Yeah.
you would be in on it, and the reason is particularly in some of these changes, because like last time was a pretty complicated set of minutes, and a complicated discussion that we had for quite a while there. Changing the draft of the minutes is essentially, could change the meaning of what the draft said, and that's, that's work product of the committee that's not being done in public. And I think that's what we're really trying to address, is to get all the work product that needs to be in front of the public.
I would make a small but very important distinction. You said that it's not being done in public. Well, it is. It's just that the public has chosen not to come.
Well, yeah,
And I mean, that's a very important distinction. Anybody who wants.
right, could sit there, but on the recording, but it's on the video, in person, or on the record. Whereas if, some of the changes I may have made in the minutes that we've had this year could change the meaning of what the draft was, and nobody may have known how that meaning changed other than you and I. So,
Well, to take that one step further, as I've been writing these minutes, I've been very well aware that people who have not followed the conversation would not necessarily understand everything that I'm saying.
mhm.
Unless you get an outside reporter or something to come in, which is,
Right.
so, I mean, there's a limit to.
Right, well, and keep in mind, the minutes, no, I've been in a committee in town where the secretary thought the job was to make a transcript. And that's not what we're trying to do.
No, it's a summary.
You're trying to capture the summary of the discussion so that if you weren't here, you would understand that item. And we have, this is one of the few committees that does a video, so there is a transcript of the meeting. But I don't think the minutes that you're taking should be a transcript of the meeting. It should be what's germane to the subject and, you know, what are the points of fact that are being made and what any conclusions were, so. So, all right, with that, we have a consensus that we'll handle the preparation of the minutes for approval. And I think as you pointed out, what we've been doing and what we will do speeds up that whole process rather than dragging it out for another month, so.
What is the official committee email address? Do you know?
I think it's capcommittee@pownellmaine.org.
It's on the website. On the,
Yeah, now it's in my book.
committee's
Yeah.
page.
Committees, yeah.
And if the agenda that you got for this meeting came out from that address.
Yeah,
That's fine.
committee@pownellmaine.org.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for that. We'll talk a little bit more about that meeting maybe later tonight. Next item on the agenda is public comment. There are no public present, so we'll move on to select board input. There's no select board present, so we'll move on to new business. New business, there are two items there, and they come from the message that came from the town administrator about how the committees should conduct their business, including the format of the agenda. You may have noticed that there were some slight format changes in the agenda to conform to what the town uses. We've adapted into that. We're identical, but we've adapted it. So no big deal there from a committee standpoint. But there are two things that stood out in my mind as I read through the document that Becky sent out. And one was the need for a vice chair. And I confirmed with Becky on Monday night, now that we are 6 members, we do have a requirement to have a vice chair. When I did the agenda, you'll notice there's a question mark there because we only had 5 members on the committee. And Becky finally decided that it was her reading of the document that 5 or less did not need it. And of course, now we're 6. So we need a vice chair. So we should probably do that now, is to elect the vice chair. The role of the vice chair is to preside over the meeting should the chair not be present. Or if the chair needs to defer the gavel, if you will, for any reason. So I would open the floor to nominations for vice chair of the committee.
I would nominate Teresa Lockwood, position of vice chair.
Is there a second?
I knew it was coming.
That was quick. You saw that coming, right?
They're already handling the,
Well, the only thing is, if you're thinking of a vice chair, the ideal thing for a vice chair is, and we discussed this before, that if you, for example, would be out all of a sudden for a while, and there are certain things that you do that are very uniquely depending on your qualification, on what you do with the, and I don't think none of us or any of us would be right now, unless I'm wrong, I would hope I'm wrong, would be able to step into that particular role.
That
And-
spreadsheet. Is that what you're talking about? The spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet
Yeah, the
is,
spreadsheet.
well, that's basically what the committee is all about. It's the most important portion of what we do. So, I mean, a vice chair should have, and personally, I wouldn't be able to do it because I don't have the capacity to really work with spreadsheet really easy. I could learn it, but I don't have time for it, to be honest with you. But I think, and we have been thinking about if we had another member, it would be good if we had another member that had the spreadsheet wherewithal. Do you have, how is your spreadsheet wherewithal?
I mean, they teach us it at university, like I was like, in my department, there was a lot of reasons for me to do it because of research. But I have looked at this overall spreadsheet that has been compiled over the years and, that's a lot of information that I'm not very familiar with, so it would take me some time just to.
Well,
You need
That.
Well, certainly as a new member, I wouldn't want to put that on you, but I just wanted to highlight it. I mean, anybody who takes that role should, in the back of their mind, and should certainly have the support of all the other members if anything, if you run under a truck, which God forbid will not happen.
As long as you're not driving, man. No, I think your point is well taken in that the spreadsheet has gotten complex enough that, and I'm the only one that's worked it since the beginning, that the question is, am I a single point of failure for the committee in that regard? And there's been a large, as I've explained before, there's been a large attempt to hopefully minimize that in the design of the spreadsheet and how it works, but it's not 100% bulletproof because there have been times that I've had to put things in there that a beginner or intermediate Excel user might struggle with, and particularly there's some programming in the background that doesn't do a lot, but it makes it a lot easier to use the spreadsheet. So its functionality is not great, but there's multiple pages, and if you want the same information to show up on different pages, there has to be some programming in the background to make that happen.
You're mad at
But again, it doesn't have to be something that we address right away,
Right.
but we have to keep it in the back of.
But I think it's a valid concern. It's a concern that's been with me ever since I started working on that spreadsheet. Because the intent was not to make it, I could have made it like an application, so you couldn't see any of the formulas. It was all in the background and you had to be able to do Excel programming. All of the functionality that's really needed for it to work is in the formulas. But because of that, the formulas get very complex.
Yeah.
And even I struggle with some of them, if I haven't seen that formula in 5 years, it takes me a little while to go figure out what is it. I kind of know what it's supposed to do, but what is it doing piece by piece? So that's an area that I think as a committee, we should be concerned about and figure out how do we simplify the spreadsheet.
How do we simplify it, or how do we, it almost needs its own instruction manual.
And then there is some of that in there, but it's probably time that I go through that and make sure it's up to date. And for those that have been here since the beginning, and Peter, you may be the only one, that spreadsheet started in one direction at the request of the select board. And when we got to the point where we could see the result, they didn't like it. So we turned it back in another direction to the direction we have now. But a lot of that old stuff is still hanging in there and it doesn't do anything, only because the cleanup was going to be a lot of work to clean it up. And the author didn't feel like doing it. So, and every year I look at, should I go clean that up? And that's kind of something you'd have to do in the summer when the committee's dormant, because it would look a lot different. And I don't have a clear picture of what it would look like, but there's a lot of stuff in there that makes it look more complicated than it is, only because it's just junk laying there. So anyway, point well taken. So there's a motion on the floor for Teresa Lofgren to be the vice chair of the committee. There's a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
I have to vote on myself.
Yes, you can vote for yourself. Great. Congratulations.
I
Then
think you're the most qualified.
Absolutely.
she's the only one that knows how to, she can run the computer. All right, then
I do have an aside kind of question regarding, does that, having 6 now, does that change what we? need
quorum
for-
would be 4 people, I believe. I think it's 2/3. We need 2/3. So we need,
Or 3/5. That's what they said.
something the other night was 3/5. I didn't-
They said you need a 3/5 for a quorum. I said, well, how can you do that with a 3-person select board?
Right, yeah. It didn't make any sense. You know, for the select board, whatever you do, it's gonna come out to 2. But we need 4. The other item in the document that I got from Becky was the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of the meeting. It was written as if every committee should be doing this, and I've never seen a committee do the Pledge of Allegiance before a meeting. I know the select board does it, and I'm fine either way, but and Becky's answer to me was it's optional at the committee level. And so I wanted to bring it here and ask what your pleasure is. If you'd like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm fine with that. If not, I'm fine with that too.
Say if it's not required, then,
Yeah.
I prefer not to do it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, then
It's all back to 3rd grade. It's
You're right.
it's okay.
I'm happy to do it, but I didn't see a need for it at the
Don't
committee.
care either way.
Yeah, I'd do it if it was necessary.
All
but
right.
I don't see the need.
Okay, old business, strategies and objectives. We did not get to this last meeting because of the robust discussion we had on investing funds for the capital reserve account. With the agenda, I did include a copy of the strategies and objectives that we had last year. These come from the comprehensive plan of 2021. And as rewritten by this committee. And so, and this is really relative to the work that we're doing in this committee year, which runs through June 30th of 2026. So I want to make sure that we have in the committee's mind the correct set of objectives, and they're written in a way that we can want to and will meet their intent. So the first one is to provide and maintain a tool which promotes sound financial planning by estimating future needs and costs, thus reducing substantial fluctuation in the yearly tax rate.
Hence the spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet is what we use to answer that. And do we all agree that the spreadsheet allows us to do those things?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one is to recommend timely and cost-effective replacement, renovation, and acquisition of the equipment assets necessary for the effective delivery of town services.
I think we look at the timeliness of replacing equipment on a fairly regular basis.
Annually. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we are open to, this isn't gonna make its written lifespan.
Yeah.
You know, tell us why, and we may be
Mhm.
flexible enough to.
Yeah, I think we've shown over the years that we'll listen.
that's what
we'll
we're all
listen.
about.
Yeah.
Wait,
I think we've done a lot to help the department heads make the case to deviate from the plan.
Yeah.
So, okay. 3, evaluate and recommend sources of funding, appropriation bonds or lease for the replacement, renovation, and/or acquisition of the equipment assets necessary for the effective delivery of town services.
We do that annually. Or when something is at the bonding threshold
Yeah.
or
As appropriate. We,
as appropriate, yes.
Mhm.
And then 4 is continue to look for ways to reduce costs, which is a pretty open-ended thing, but
Well,
yeah,
I
but
think we push back to the department heads if.
we do that all the time.
we did that with the investment strategy.
yes. Okay.
That's one way.
Are there any other strategies and/or objectives that you think we should have? Though, I mean, we did this last year, but what I want to do again this year is be in a position that at the end of the year, we can write our final report indicating that we have met everything that we've set out to do, and this is what we've set out to do. And I think in particular, referencing back to the strategic plan of the town, So,
I think we're meeting our strategies and objectives. And two, I think we're also meeting what's expected of us in the comprehensive plan. Not that we were mentioned very much in it.
Right, okay, I would, if there's no other discussion, I would look for a motion to accept the strategies and objectives as discussed, items 1 through 4.
I will make a motion to accept the strategies as discussed. 1 through 4.
Second.
Motion
Sure.
made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much. Back to the agenda, other business. I just wanted to let you know that I did meet with Dan Libby, the road commissioner, a week or so ago. Dan had responded to my invite to present the Public Works information with a request to meet and go over expectations of the committee. This is Dan's first appearance before the committee in January. And so I went through the list, the asset schedule with him and kind of shared with him what we expect from him in terms of replacement cost, current replacement cost for each of the items, even if they're not to be replaced. Any comments that he would have on the service life, if that needs to be adjusted, that would be the time to do it. If he has any needs for equipment that's not on the list, that he really needs to bring that to our attention then, if not sooner. And so we went back and forth on that. I think he understands what we're looking for, but I suspect that the first time through, it'll be his first time through. He's not,
Be a little rocky.
yeah, he's not done this before in his other lives working on Public Works. And he's not familiar with our process other than the one night he did come in the first meeting. But so as in the past, every time we get a new department head, it takes a little bit of time and to get in sync together. And I, told him to, expect questions. And it's not we will not sit idly and just say, yes, we will ask questions and we will raise issues if we think they needed to be raised. So I think he's all set there. I was a little concerned that he did not seem to have available to him in the town information about the items that are coming up in Public Works for this next year, the excavator and the flail mower. He's certainly very familiar with them from his previous experience at Freeport Public Works, but had not been able to find any information inside the records of Pownell about the presentations that have been made or requested on those items. And as you all know, that's 2 years ago we started talking about them. And we did an extensive review of them, including helping the then road commissioner justify the changes that were being requested. So I did find in my records at home copies of some hard copy documents that I did drop off here for him. And I also provided him the analysis we did on the wheel loader when we did the cost benefit analysis to bring that piece of equipment in. That was a large piece of equipment that was not in the plan. It was proposed by the then, that was 2 or 3 road commissioners ago. And the committee in questioning decided it seemed like anecdotally a good idea. And the committee, along with the road commissioner, did a comprehensive cost benefit analysis, which determined that it provided a significant return on investment to the town. And we went ahead and put that into the plan and the machine was acquired. So I gave him a copy of that. So as an example of what we're willing to do to work with him, that if he has ideas about something that would be better for the town, but doesn't know how to present it or how to justify it, that the committee certainly had some skill sets that they would offer. So I think it went well. We'll help him when he gets here. with whatever he needs. So he is now scheduled for January 28th.
So he may make a return trip to us.
Right, well, yeah.
He will.
Yeah, his predecessor made 3 trips that year.
Yeah, the first year.
So, and as you all know, at that time of the year, time is getting tight. And it always concerns me that we're doing this in January, where in March, we got to present our request for appropriation. So there's not much time, and I don't know. Maybe we should talk about moving these presentations up, some of them into December, to give us a little time for return appearances. But that then cuts down on the time they have to get ready. So we got to balance it. So that's the only other business I had. Next meeting's January 7th. We will have a public safety presentation from Fire Chief Jesse Peters.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot anyway.
He has one item which he told me he is going to defer again,
Yeah,
because it's an item that he would like to have, but he would rather have the version of the equipment he's going to get in the new facility. But then, and that version will not fit into this firehouse.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's good forward thinking.
yeah, so, he said he would defer that another year, and we'll find out more about that when he's here. And I said back to him and let him know that I was thinking of bringing, I had thought to bring it tonight, was the item to refurbish engine 2. That item was done several years ago, and it's still in the asset schedule with a 100-year life. 100-year life is it's done for a purpose, and that's what makes the spreadsheet not consider that item again for the next 20 years. So it never comes up in the funding formulas because it's out 100 years. So, and since that engine's been done, I'd like to get it off the list. Except if he thinks because of the future facilities uncertainty as to when that will happen, will he need the refurbish engine 2 again so that he gets the engine he would like rather than the engine that fits in the,
Right.
because the one he's going to get that he likes for the new facility will not fit in the old building. So we're going to have to make a trade-off if that new facility doesn't get done at a certain point in time. I don't know when that point in time is, so.
I think that's what we need to find out from him.
Right.
How much time would we have?
Right, and there's no rush to get it off, but I see no reason to keep it.
Mhm.
It just sits out there with, if anybody looks at it, says, why do you have something out there for 100 years? Is that a typo? No, it's not a typo. It's there for a purpose. So we'll just talk about if we can get it off, we'll get it off. If there's a reason to keep it, we'll keep it. If we can always bring it back. It's not. But if we take, to get it off, we have to take it to the select board and they have to agree. To get it back on, we have to propose it and they have to agree. So there's a process to follow. And then January 28th, at the end of the month, Becky will be doing the Mallet Hall presentation. That will be her first time before the committee. I think that will be fairly straightforward.
She understands how the committee works.
Yeah, she,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not aware of any issues there. And I will probably ask her to, as long as I don't forget, to bring in at that her presentation, a new estimate on the interest rate for bonds for the town. So we still have that at 5%. Interest rates went down again today, so might that change? I'll ask her to maybe check with Maine Bond Bank and see if they can give her any kind of better guesstimate. So that's the end of the agenda. Is there anything else that
Yeah,
needs
I
to come?
want to ask one question. I used to be the chairman of the Mallet Hall Committee. Then I resigned a couple of years ago and Kathy Hope took over. And unfortunately, last year, Kathy Hope resigned from that because I think of her husband and so forth. So the Mallet Hall Committee was a committee that's actually sort of rudderless right now, and we have 4 members, I believe. And so I brought it up at a meeting, at a select board meeting. And John thought it was a good idea to keep the committee going some way or another. And I think it is probably important as a, first of all, we've had sort of historical oversight on the town hall and then we're looking at stuff, especially inside and outside, that had to happen. But with the changes in the office downstairs, the relationship between the committee and the administration downstairs has sort of changed a lot. And we haven't really been keeping up with the changes. And so John asked me to put a meeting together, which I did in October actually, and get some people involved that are involved in the, what is the committee that Kathy Hoke does, with the Recreation Committee, and also with some members of the Historical Society, the Pownals Historical Society, which is also a dying type of organization. I think there's now 2 members that are actually active. There's Craig Dietrich is actually, and he's not even an official member, but he sort of holds it together. So he was at the meeting as well. So having only 4 members on the committee, and 2 of them were not there, there were only 2 members. So I asked 2 people that were there that were involved with the Historical Society, Joanna White, whatever her name is, and then the husband of the woman that works with Kathy on her committee, if they would be, and John was at the meeting, and he said erroneously, of course, I said, can these people can we make them members of the committee now? And obviously he said, yeah, that's okay. Which according to Becky, Becky vetoed that. So now I have to go back and do this, but still, it would still give us only 6 members. And John said, well, the purpose of the committee actually should also be more focused on to making the hall more of a community place where people gather and so forth, which we can do. But, and I don't want to be the chairman of the committee anymore, nor the secretary, actually. And so I said, well, what I'll do is we'll try to make these 2 people members, but we also should look for other members. But I don't want all 75 and 80-year-olds on the committee. And I was wondering if you guys, do you guys know anybody who is like people that have school-age children? I mean, people in their 25s, 30s, 40s that would be wanting to be a member of a committee, because that's what the committee actually need. And if you know of such a person, and if such a person wants to, has an interest, tell them to contact me, and because I'm planning to set up probably another meeting in January, so we can make it workable and work with Becky, and I work with the new guy that supposedly is working for us now. Is he? Do we know? I don't know. Well, that's true. So anyway, but if you know of anybody who says, if you have a husband maybe who wants to be a member, if you want to be a member.
They went in my volunteer form to eventually join this committee, but I listed as my second choice Mallet Hall committee, so I actually am very interested. So I will get your email, so I can reach out.
Ask him for my email. Yeah, and send me your information and we'll talk about it and we'll make you a member. That's great. Oh my God, thank you. That's all I
You may have picked up a member tonight. Yeah.
You want to be a member too?
No, I'm already a member
You
on,
could be the chairman.
Andy, would you like to make a point?
no, I would, I'm piggybacking on Jan Peter right now because I am also a member of the Budget Committee, and we are down to 4 members this year. The chair from last year, they've added to their family recently, and he had to step away for a year to help his wife, understandably. And we lost Donna Watson last year. moved away. So we're down to 4 members. We're meeting on January 6th in the afternoon, late afternoon, to choose a chair and a
Congratulations.
and a secretary out of the 4 people, but we really should have more eyes and ears looking at the budget than 4 people. So if anybody could find it in their heart, we're only active January, February, and March. So
Okay.
that's my
It-
plea.
It's on the recording, so the whole town is aware now. that-
Good.
All right. If there's no other business to come before the committee, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?